Just want to first say thank you to everybody that gave the birthday wishes yesterday for my birthday. We're so thankful for each and every one of y'all. Y'all make this so amazing. But today we've got some huge breaking news because we have Trump and Mike Johnson make a huge major play for the SAFE Act in the midst of all this government shutdown. Trump says it's now or never to make this happen and to save America. We got the details for you in just a moment. Let me know what you think. There's been a huge cover-up that the former chief patrol agent has now come forward and testified before Congress that the Biden-Harris administration ordered him and his team to cover up how many terrorists had come into or had been arrested at the border trying to get into the United States. Congress is now looking into what they could do to go after the Biden-Harris administration. A new whistleblower has come out on the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump and said that the Secret Service ignored protocol. We called this. We did it. We called it and chose to put Trump out there knowing that there have been many threats against the president's life. This is a huge, huge whistleblower leak, and it's as bad as it gets. And yes, again, too, the Iranians, who it's now been confirmed, who hacked Trump's campaign, gave all that information to the Harris campaign. We have a ton of breaking news today. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. Today's a big day. Just want to say thank you to all those that have blessed this channel with super chat donations. We're so thankful for your gracious support. Just want to say thank you to all of our new members of the channel. We are growing the True Life News family big time. The links are in the description to join. And I just love that we're going to do some amazing things with this channel. It's going to be more than just reporting news. We're going to change this world for good. And we're going to do it together. I love you all, but let's get right into this news because this is huge.
Earlier tonight, the House voted on a continuing resolution to fund the government. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, attached to the bill a SAVE Act, and that is aimed at preventing illegal immigrants from voting in federal elections, and of course, had widespread opposition, especially from House Democrats. The bill failed to pass in a 220 to 202 vote, giving Congress only 12 days to work together to avoid a government shutdown weeks before the election. Joining us now, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, why would anybody be against proof of citizenship, voter ID, signature verification, chain of custody controls for mail-in ballots, updated voter rolls? Why would they be against partisan observers in every precinct in the country watching the vote all day, the voting all day, and the vote counting all night and into the next day if needed? Why are they against those integrity measures?
These are great questions, Sean, and they need to be asked. The play that we ran tonight was the right play. It was the right fight for the American people.
Yes.
It's the one they demand and deserve. I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, Congress has two important responsibilities, obviously, upon us right now. Fund the government and ensure the security of our elections. I've been traveling the country nonstop, done campaign events in 206 cities across 39 states so far, without exception, Sean, in every venue, everywhere. When we go to audience questions, the first or second question is about election security. So the bill tonight would have accomplished both those objectives. We would have funded the government and secured the election, and I'm very disappointed it didn't pass. We ran the right play. We came a little bit short of the goal line, so now we'll go back to the playbook. We'll draw it up. We're already hearing good ideas from our members, and we got time to fix this, and we'll get it done.
Let me ask you, you keep saying it's the right play, and you can't get every Republican to vote for it. That's your own party. What are their objections, and how do you get them on board?
Well, look, there's a range of objections. You know, some people look for the perfect piece of legislation. Some people are philosophically opposed to continuing resolutions. Look, I'm one of those. I don't like this, but everybody needs to understand the reason that 12 separate appropriations bills were not ready for passage is because Chuck Schumer and the Senate have not done their job. They have not put one appropriation bill on the floor for passage. So we're far apart between the two chambers. There's nothing that we can negotiate because they didn't put anything on the table. And we have the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. So we're pushed into this scenario, into this dilemma, because of the Senate's inability or unwillingness to do their job. Chuck Schumer's to blame for this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and you did make the comment that you're not going to be rolled by the Senate, which I like to hear. And then it just brings up the question of, okay, well, even if you increase your majority, what does this mean for you running for Speaker if Republicans hold the House and hopefully even add to their majority? Does this hurt you in any way?
Now, look, this is part of the process. I mean, we have a small margin, and that's why we're laser focused on growing that majority. It's critically important. I want everybody to remember this. When Donald Trump is elected president, if the Democrats have the majority in the House, they will impeach him on the first day of office.
You hear this?
Everybody knows what will happen.
This is huge.
We have got to grow the majority, and I'm absolutely convinced we're going to, Sean. I'm very bullish about the election cycle. In fact, if you go to growthemajority.com, you'll see all of our reasons for hope. We have an extraordinary stable of candidates that are going to flip these blue seats to red, and our incumbents are going to be reelected. We're going to be in the driver's seat in January for the beginning of the new Congress, and we're going to have Republican control of the Senate.
Wow.
We're going to grow the House majority, and Donald Trump will be back in the White House.
Why are Republicans so reluctant to ever shut down the government? Why don't they just shut it down?
Shut it down.
Because, let's be honest, when they do shut down the government, it's not really a shutdown. Non-essential
Super important.
Workers get a furlough. They usually get back pay. And essential workers keep working. Our armed forces keep working. Social security checks, et cetera. That keeps going out. Essential services continue. And then people in the end end up getting a paid vacation. Why are people so reluctant against that?
Well, if you're a military family and a spouse is deployed and you're at home with children, you rely on that paycheck to come in. You rely on getting paid on time. If you're a TSA agent or a Border Patrol agent, we need them to be doing their job and not going on furlough and not having people not showing up for work because they're not getting checks. But look, I don't think it's going to come to a shutdown. I believe we can get this job done. Like I said, we go back to the playbook. We have time. We have time to get it done, and we will. We're going to deliver for the American people.
So this is big. This is coming from the Speaker of the House, who just said, look, we have the plan. We're not going to fall to what? To the Senate. We're not going to, it's either going to be shut down or we're going to have the SAVE Act. So there's somebody else who's given more information on what's actually happening behind the scenes. And what I love is you're hearing the most real talk coming from these two people that are voting on this. And this is why America needs it so much. Check this out. Oh, come on.
And the House has already passed the SAVE Act. I am putting pressure on the Senate to take up the SAVE Act and pass it before we fund this weaponized, corrupt federal government any longer.
Yeah, and the CR, here's what I'm hearing from both sides. I don't mean the Democrats. I mean both sides of the Republican Party, because I separate y'all, right? There's America First folks like you, and then there's rhinos and the Uniparty.
Ooh.
So you do have a lot of Republicans who say the SAVE Act is great. I agree, it needs to be in. But because Johnson's attaching it to this CR, which spends more money, and it doesn't reduce any of our spending, some are like, well, no, I'm not going to sign on for this crap because we had the SAVE Act passed before months ago in a totally separate bill.
Yes.
You're attaching it to a CR that's going to have us spending more money. We're not cutting any money for the taxpayers. So what's going to happen? Are we going to actually approve it? Can we get it separated? And what do you think the Senate will do so it won't even matter what the House does? Is this more symbolism?
Dan, you just made the only point. What is the Senate going to do? Because that is what matters. And what the Senate's going to do is strip out the SAVE Act from any continuing resolution that we would send over to the Senate. If there was a promise by the Speaker, by leadership, by other Republicans who are on the other side, as you say, to take this fight all the way through, then I would be all for it. If we were promising the American people that we will pass the SAVE Act, that this will become law before we fund the federal government, or we won't fund the federal government and we will have a shutdown fight over this issue, I would be all for it.
Yeah.
But we already know that it's going to be stripped out. that this is false hope for many of our voters back home. Ridiculous. And we're going to end up with a clean CR. And the CR may even end in December rather than next year, which will force a Christmas omnibus, probably bigger than any omnibus we've ever seen.
This is what happens every time. This is why we, the American people, are so pissed off about what happens in D.C. Because everybody just kicks the can down the road, keeps spending our money, and nothing gets done. And now illegals are going to run our elections because they're going to pick future presidents and members of the House and Senate because they're in key areas to vote and nobody's cleaning up the rolls. What a freaking mess Washington, D.C. is. Lauren, thank you so much. My final word.
So that's the thing. And what you read at the bottom was that Trump is saying, look, this is either going to pass with the SAVE Act or shut it down if you are going to follow me. So now the Republicans have to make a choice of where they align with. Are they going to stick with Donald Trump or are they going to go against him? But just like you heard Lauren Berbere, that we have to pass this. We've already passed the SAVE Act in the Congress. We need to get it passed through. And if it's attached to the CR, then it doesn't matter. But it's either shut the government down or keep our elections fair. Because what I'm about to show you in a moment is going to blow your mind and show you why a place like California is blue now. Why they're trying to do it to all the swing states. This is facts. You cannot deny it. When you see it, you'll never forget it. But on the other part, there's also the other crap happening with the whistleblower. With who? With Donald Trump's second assassination attempt. Check this out.
But when they say something I actually agree with, I feel the need to highlight it to show you that I actually believe in principles, unlike a lot of liberals who only believe in the principle of power. Throw up that Chad Pergram tweet, if you would. Chad Pergram's an excellent congressional reporter for a Fox News channel. I follow him a lot. He knows the mechanics in and out of up on Capitol Hill, and he gets a lot of comments others don't get. Here's Chad. You know Dick Blumenthal, Tricky Dick? You know, the guy who makes up all the stories about his heroic service in combat and all that other stuff? Guy's obviously a piece of garbage, but he said something that made sense. He said, Blumenthal on the Secret Service, this issue's not about money. A Democrat, did you guys hear it? A Democrat said something isn't about money, taxpayer money, for the first time, like in the history of ever time. He says the issue's not about money. It's about management, using resources productively and effectively. And the lapses and failures that will be documented in our report will go to the mismanagement that led to the abject failure to protect the president properly. Holy moly, dude, what? Wait, am I aging
This
myself?
is huge.
Elizabeth, get me the nitroglycerin pill. Someone give me a baby aspirin. I mean, my heart is having a coronary event. What the hell's going on here? Dick Blumenthal, who will say anything to anyone at any time to steal more of your money and spend it with the United States government and cover for government inadequacies, has two gems in one quote, that this is a mismanagement issue and it's not about the money. That is freaking amazing. Sounds like something this guy told you. What did I say? I told you guys, this has nothing to do with money. The Secret Service budget, since I was there in 1999, aging myself, in real dollars, adjusted for inflation, has doubled from 1.5 billion to 3.3 billion. It's more than doubled. This is not a money issue. When he's talking about mismanagement, it's what I told you. Your boy here with his two thumbs right here, this guy, told you a long time ago. Half of their agents and more than half of their money is being pissed down a toilet bowl to go investigate financial crimes that the FBI does. We don't need a new government agency. You don't need more money. Matter of fact, you probably need less money. Take half of the Secret Service budget, go give it to these agencies or give it back to the taxpayer investigating financial crimes, and tell the Secret Service now, hey, the money you spend investigations, there you go, it's gone. Now you guys can focus on protection. None of this stuff is hard. By the way, did you see that picture of the fence line that's been running around in a newspaper? This guy was like 10 yards away from where President Trump was.
So I want to show you that real quick, the fence line, and show you what the line of sight actually looked like, because it's very scary. Look at this. This was his view of the shooter with the firearm. This is what it was going to look like for him. And somehow they saw the barrel. Thank God. Look how bad this is. Look how easy of a shot this would have been for him. Telling you, it's bad.
Please stop with the protection model work. The protection model failed. Period. Stop. A guy with a high-powered rifle and a scope would have been about 10 yards away if some eagle-eyed agent as a failsafe didn't catch this guy in the woods. And by the way, the guy was in a pink shirt. Folks, anyone out there in the chat with military experience? If you're sitting out there in a wood line as a sniper, secreting yourself against an enemy position to try and take out a target, do you wear a pink shirt? Is that a color that occurs in nature, in natural forestry, outside of flowers and floral arrangements? The answer is no, it isn't.
No.
The guy would have had a damn ghillie suit on or some camouflage. Donald Trump would be dead again. Dead again. They absolutely failed. Stop covering for them. The agents are pissed off. You missed yesterday's show. I read a text from a guy with a deep body of experience in the Secret Service who said, take that back, a great man, I know well. They are fed up. They are tired of be putting out there on the front lines with a management class that's going to get one of them hurt and one of their protectees killed. Okay, so I have an update. Folks, you remember Ned Parker? Who in the chat remembers Ned? So Ned Parker from Reuters reached out, big mistake, trying to imply that I had something to do with some guy who was threatening people. I don't even get that. I read the story. It doesn't even make a lot of sense. Or was like trying to threaten people. I don't know. I never heard of this guy. I have no idea who this guy is. So Ned does what every leftist does. They try to cover for leftist violence because the left is the party of violence, period. That's not open for debate. Liberals, sit down and shut up. Put your dunce caps on. You're the BLM party. You're the Antifa party. You're the party of political violence. Yeah, it's our candidate who's been shot or almost shot now twice in 2 months. You can shut them up, okay? You're the party of violence. You own it. You apologize for it. It's the mostly peaceful alley. I'm tired of hearing your crap. So left-wing media people have to distract you from left-wing violence. So Ned Parker from Reuters, absolute, right, emails me and says, hey, this guy listens to your show, basically implying somehow I'm responsible, despite the fact that on this show, and I want to thank you all, seriously, I mean this. I want to thank you all for tweeting to Ned respectfully, but I don't want to, engage in any kind of threatening stuff ourselves, but tweeting to Ned, hey, dipstick, do you actually listen to Dan's show? Because he's only resolutely condemned political violence as a red line, probably 1,000 times. And by the way, we're putting that montage together to send to people like Ned so we can sue them if they imply it in the future. Ned's article came out today. Did you guys see it? Here it is. This is glorious. This may be, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the finest moment in Dan Bongino show history. How do I know? Because Guy, who never says anything, anytime ever, came in this morning and he said, this is great. What else? No, that's it. But for Guy, that's a lot. You got to understand. Unless you're talking about Star Wars or Dungeons and Dragons, or what is it, Flesh and Blood? Unless you're talking about that, Guy doesn't say anything. So Guy actually enjoyed this. He said, that's not hyperbolic. That's real, Michael. You know it. Guy said, this is great. Here it is, folks. Reuters. Ned Parker, Trump fan, targets MAGA foes with menace and gets away with it. I have no idea who this guy is. Never met this guy in my entire life. I don't know. Okay, he said, I'm going to be precise. Guy said, this is really great. For Guy, that is enormous. Bongino didn't reply to a Reuters request for comment. Language alert, folks. But he addressed it on his show, calling the rap reporter a lying sack of and telling him to F off. Bongino also said he has repeatedly condemned political violence on his program as absolutely an unacceptable red line we shouldn't cross. There you go. Lying sack of There you go, fellas. That's how you handle the communist media. You do not give these a-holes the time of day because they don't deserve it. You're going to call me or email me pretending and implying that MAGA people want violence when we absolutely, resolutely condemn it 100%. I don't care what side it's on.
Right.
And you're talking to a guy who actually worked in a Secret Service outlet. Oh, there it is. from the top ropes. I'd prefer Macho Man, but I'll take it. There it is.
Let me tell you this. All this stuff, as many times as they try to come and say, look, this is who this is who they are, this is the party of violence and whatnot, they get debunked every single time. And what I love is now that all this stuff is coming out and people are finally seeing the truth, that they're the most courageous people ever. Whistleblowers are literally coming out of the woodworks like never before. I've never, ever seen as much whistleblowers come out like they're doing now, showing us and telling us what actually happened with the second assassination attempt with Trump. Check this out.
Senator Josh Hawley joins me now. Senator, what are you hearing now from people that are speaking to your staff?
Well, what we've heard, Jesse, from new whistleblowers who've come forward about this second assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. And here's what they have told us. That golf course that the president was playing, Secret Service have guarded that course many, many times. And what the whistleblower says is protocol calls for Secret Service to station agents along the places in the course that are known vulnerabilities. I want to emphasize the service has guarded this course many times. They know where there are vulnerabilities. They normally station agents there ahead of Trump's appearance on the course, but they apparently did not do that this last weekend. And the whistleblowers tell me that's strange. That's out of protocol. It's not even clear Secret Service swept the perimeter before Trump took to the course. Also a breach of protocol. And they want to know why, and so do I. I think the Secret Service does.
Do you hear this? Secret Service, they've done this before. They ignored protocol to look at that opening. That is insane that they literally had nobody there in that opening. They ignored the protocol. They didn't sweep before. They didn't use drones. Those are three of the biggest fails, and they said that they did a great job. What's more of it sounds like is that they left three opportunities for somebody to try and to attack Trump. Can you imagine? Like, I couldn't imagine being Trump right now wondering, like, are these people really doing their jobs? Are they following protocol? Are they doing what they're supposed to be? Because we just learned through this whistleblower, they did not. Three protocols they clearly dismissed instead of doing what they were supposed to do to protect Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
To give us answers.
We're hearing conflicting reports about who fired off those rounds at Ruth. Was it a guy sweeping the perimeter during the round, or was it the advance team who was a hole ahead? Do we have any understanding of what the truth is there?
I don't think we do yet. Certainly I don't. And again, the Secret Service, the FBI, DHS have not been forthcoming on this. Jesse, I want to emphasize we are over 2 months, of course, since Butler. Do you know that the Secret Service still has not given congressional investigators the documents and evidence we have been asking for 2 months? 2 months since Trump was shot in the face.
Wow.
Now he has been shot at or nearly so again, and still Secret Service is stonewalling right down to this hour. I mean, what is going on here? They need to level with us. They need to level with the American people, and they need to tell us what in the world is happening.
I mean, even your colleagues, pretty partisan colleagues on the left, Blumenthal, even he's just had it. So we're also hearing, and this is new, tell me if you've heard this as well, that the Secret Service told the locals in Butler, oh, no, we got the roof. Don't worry about the roof. We got it. Is that what you heard too? Because they didn't get it.
You know, I saw this in Senator Grassley's recent report, and I can tell you, Jesse, I can confirm that local law enforcement in Butler, local whistleblowers have told me in my office that Secret Service was indeed the one that took, of course, the planning lead on the day, and that Secret Service was supposed to be in charge of securing that location. And they didn't do it. And I tell you what, local law enforcement has been extremely upset, to put it mildly, for months now that they've been blamed. The Secret Service went public, blamed the locals, and the locals say it wasn't our responsibility. Secret Service was supposed to do it. Jesse, the local police even offered Secret Service drones on the day in Butler. Secret Service said no.
Wow.
Do you believe in your heart that the Secret Service...
They're literally saying no to more protection for the former president. Does that not sound like something devious, manipulative, something is there? You can't help but think that. Am I wrong? Let me know in the chat.
is just incompetent or they're compromised?
Ooh, you heard that.
You know, all I can say is this. When for 2 months, you won't answer questions in public, you won't give congressional investigators any documents or evidence, you won't comply with the most basic request for information, that raises a lot of troubling questions. It's a stonewall, Jesse. That's all there is to it. This is stonewalling at this point. I don't know why they're stonewalling, but it can't be good. And it's time for them to come clean. It's
unacceptable. And again, great job with your office communicating with these whistleblowers. It's the only way we're getting the truth out there. Thank you, Senator Hawley.
Isn't that so bad? The only way we're getting the truth is the whistleblowers? Well, guess what? Somebody else has come out over the cover-up that the Biden-Harris administration has been trying to do. And this ain't no just on Fox. This is before Congress. This is a hearing. This is as blatant, leaked whistleblower just showing his face as it gets. Let me know your thoughts, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of cover-ups that I got to show you in just a moment, but they're coming out of the woodworks like crazy.
We had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year.
Ooh.
These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border.
Wow.
Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas.
What?
Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
Did y'all hear that? You don't think this administration is corrupt? You don't think that they're trying to silence people? This is a former chief patrol agent. This is bad. Holy golly. You think, and then they're not even, this is the bad part. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Listen to this.
The Russians, just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence.
Okay, that's quite a claim there. Hillary Clinton calling for the arrest of Americans, spreading disinformation. Is that what she said there? A new column by the constitutional law expert Jonathan Turley breaking down Clinton's history of suppressing free speech. Jonathan Turley joins me now. Good morning to you. You believe she's been at this for some time. Go ahead and explain that, then I'll get back to that interview. Go.
And if y'all don't know, Jonathan Turley, this is a big-time lawyer, really knows the law inside and out, Constitution and all.
I talk about her in my new book, The Indispensable Right, and how she's been one of the outstanding voices in the anti-free speech movement. Her views on free speech are quite chilling. What's interesting is that for years, the left has been trying to get people to embrace censorship. But it's hard to get a free people to give up freedom, and it's not working. And so now they're going old school with Clinton and with countries like Brazil. They're just going to straight state action, prosecutions, threatening people with arrest if you have opposing views. This is part of a movement that's been growing worldwide. And that wave has now reached our shores. That's why I wrote this book.
So thinking about the Hunter Biden laptop, right? 51 intel agents, right? That drove Elon Musk to buy X to keep it open. I mean, that's what he said repeatedly. But she was back on that program earlier today and said this, okay? Watch here, Professor.
We have seen him try to abuse power. He is absolutely linked to this Project 2025 and all of their dark and dystopian efforts to turn the clock back on Americans' rights and the way we live and how we, look at our futures together.
Okay, so, I mean, this is really interesting.
She literally just said we need to criminally charge people that spread disinformation, and she just explicitly spread disinformation right there when Trump has 100% in front of everybody denounced Project 2025, said he has nothing to do with it. Like, how hypocritical can you get?
She's saying Trump's the one abusing power. And you're here saying that she's the one who wants to abuse power, and she dropped that line about Project 2025 yet again. And if you watch Brett's show last night, you see what the real truth is about that. I don't know why those on the left aren't calling them out every time they say Project 2025. That to the side. Go ahead and take her comment about him trying to abuse power.
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. It's pure disinformation. It's false, and she knows it's false. This is also the person that her campaign funded the Steele dossier, which was disinformation. Her campaign was accused of being a conduit for Russian intelligence. And according to her standard, does that mean that she should be arrested? I doubt it, because it doesn't work that way. And so what we're seeing here with people like Hillary Clinton, with the EU, with a thing called the Digital Services Act, is an effort to force companies to censor. It's notable when Musk bought Twitter, the first thing that Hillary Clinton seemed to do was to go to Europe and ask the Europeans to use the DSA to censor Americans, to force Musk to silence opposing views in the United States. That's a former presidential candidate in the United States asking Europeans to apply their censorship laws to silence other Americans.
Here's the irony. I just want to read this quickly. Your words now. You write, Hillary Clinton's long been one of the most anti-free speech figures in American politics. She's now suggesting the arrest of Americans who spread what she considers disinformation. It is a crushingly ironic moment, since it was her campaign that funded the infamous Steele dossier and spread false stories of Russia collusion during her presidential campaign of 8 years ago.
It's
Professor,
so hypocritical.
Thanks for coming on. We'll watch it. All right. Enjoy your time.
And y'all think that's even bad? Check this out, because this was said before Congress. They have all the evidence now. This is 100% validated, what you're about to see. And yes, they are going after them, and we will report it on this channel.
Because what the Court of Appeals found is that the White House, not just the federal government, but the White House actively coerced every major social media platform in America. Let me say that again. Every major social media platform in America to ban speech that the White House did not like. What are we talking about here?
That 100% happened. So this is what's going on in Congress behind the scenes. A lot of this stuff you don't see in the mainstream media. Why? Because they're trying to cover it up. But I'm telling you this, like, the more and more that we're getting into this and the more and more that we're learning, we are getting to a point where it is just dumbfounding how much they are just going out of their way to do what? To explicitly think the American people are stupid. To think that what? That we're not going to see when they're lying right to our faces? And now we have this election interference by the Iranians who literally hacked Donald Trump's campaign and then gave the information to the Harris campaign. Like, but it's all Trump's fault and it's all the Trump and the Russia collusion? Are you kidding me? This is proven that it actually happened. Check this out.
Last night, call for number one.
I can win New York, and we can win New York. We're going to win New York. And if you vote for me, I'm going to reduce your taxes, reduce your crime, and reduce your levels of stress.
Lots of reasons to have an event in New York, obviously packed, very interesting. I don't know if he'll actually end up winning it, but one of the things, Tim, that this could do is help a lot of those down-ballot Republicans who are in tough swing districts that the Democrats have targeted this time around.
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons why you would want to do a rally in New York. As Aisha pointed out, it is the media capital of the world, and everything he says gets beamed right into the living rooms of everybody in key DMAs, key markets in battleground states. It also helps with the congressional races there in New York, and majority in Congress is key. What a great, enthusiastic rally that was. 60,000 ticket requests, and it's the first rally, of course, that he has held since the second assassination attempt. So every reason in the world to do that, and I think it's a very effective argument. What do you have to lose? People can look around. The reason this entire campaign sets up well for Donald Trump is that everyone who will vote in it has lived through both administrations, the Trump administration and the Biden-Harris administration. They can look around and see their lives are worse now than they were just 4 years ago. That's a key selling point. And if I could, Dana, it's a riot to hear Tony Blinken yet again talking about misinformation. He is the one who personally quarterbacked the letter from the 51 intelligence officials that lied and said that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, and now he's the one who's on guard for misinformation. Give me a break.
Let's talk about what the FBI and some others are talking about now with regard to Iran. Here's the joint statement that went out. It said Iranian malicious cyber actors sent unsolicited emails to individuals then associated with President Biden's campaign that contained an excerpt taken from stolen non-public material from former President Trump's campaign as text in the emails. I mean, shades of 2016 and John Podesta and the fishing expedition for the passwords there. The Harris team is saying we're not aware of it and we condemn it even if it happened. What do you know about this?
Well, it's election interference, isn't it? Plain and simple. And there's no mystery why that would be. When Donald Trump was president, Iran was weak and broke. And under Biden and Harris, they are strong and rich. And so, of course, the Iranians prefer Kamala Harris, of course, because they have a pliant, sympathetic figure in her. The questions here today are, what exactly did the Harris campaign do with this stolen information that they were sent? What did they do with it? Did they try to shop it to the media? Did they use it in any way? This is absolutely election interference. And the big question today is, what did Kamala Harris know and when did she know it about this Iranian election interference? No question it's happening.
I want to play for you something from Dan Hoffman, one of our contributors and experts from Fox and Friends First this morning. Watch.
It does demonstrate that Iran and look, China, Russia, they're all seeking to interfere with our democratic process. And what they want is for Americans not to trust our own democracy.
The Russians?
That's what Russia and China, North Korea and Iran are all fighting against. What scares those dictators the most is democracy. And it's open season on our election process.
Tim, Biden and Harris have both been asked several times on all sorts of different foreign policy fronts about interference or even coming over to the border, et cetera. And their message simply to those countries, at least publicly, what we see is they just say, don't. What would President Trump say to them?
I think President Trump shows exactly how he treats rogue nations like this. He was tougher on Russia with sanctions than this administration has been, or indeed any previous administration. He was quite clearly tougher on Iran, who are the bad actors at the center of this latest incident. The sanctions, again, as I just said, when he was president, Iran was weak and broke and unable to fund terror around the world. Now, under the Biden-Harris regime, they are strong and rich, and they are back to their old game of funding terror. And yeah, it's election interference. And folks on the Harris side, they would rather people not know about things like what happened yesterday with the Teamsters. By 2-1, union members in the Teamsters said that they support Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. And for the first time in a couple of generations, the Teamsters Union failed to endorse the Democrat for president.
That is
a
huge.
giant thing that happened yesterday. In fact, in the New York rally, the Teamsters were the ones who built out the arena and set up all the staging and everything like that. What a great message that the Iranians and the Harris campaign are in alignment on this. They don't want Americans to know that working people support Donald Trump because he will get the economy going again and fix what Kamala Harris has wrecked.
Tim, thanks for coming on today.
Let me tell you this, that Teamsters thing, like, I know you've been hearing about it. I want to show you something about it because I'm telling you, this is one of the biggest fails, and it tells you everything about where the Harris campaign is at because they see through the cracks. They see this is one of the biggest unions ever. And for them to not endorse the Democrats, which they've done since 1996, and now they're in favor of the people of the actual union are in favor of Trump 2-1 versus Kamala. This is huge. So forget what you see a lot on these polls, because this is the truth of what's actually happening.
What, 30 years? They didn't endorse Trump either, but released a poll from their members.
Look at this.
If it were up to the members, they'd give Trump a full-throated endorsement. Look at that. The Teamsters love Trump. Just can't endorse him because it'll look bad.
It's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing. And this is the first time in, I guess, 50, 60 years that that's happened. Democrats automatically have the Teamsters. They took a vote, and I guess I was at 60% or more, and that's a great honor.
A new Gallup poll has Trump beating Kamala with independents by 25 points. And a new Fox News battleground poll. Trump's ahead 2. There's your election. A CBS reporter in Nevada went from restaurant to restaurant and could barely find a single Harris supporter. Watch.
But what was really incredible is in every single restaurant of the people willing to talk to us, we could only find one Harris supporter in every restaurant. And we left no stone unturned.
I want someone who's strong, who demands respect and who gets the respect, and who can deal with foreign leaders. I think Trump's the guy.
Everybody feels it at the grocery store, at the gas pumps. And yes, I do contribute that to Biden.
Sometimes the solution is you got to tear it down and rebuild. I'm extremely concerned about the border.
There are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside?
Voters are realizing Kamala doesn't have the solutions to the problems she created. And here she is being asked, are Americans better off than they were 4 years ago? Listen.
I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother was hardworking. She raised me and my sister Maya.
Every single time.
And it was only by the time I was a teenager that she could afford to actually buy her first home. And I know, and I identify with, I know where I come from.
Madam Vice President.
And I know, but I'm just going to finish. I know.
The lady's dressing, Madam Vice President. That's not what we asked you. We didn't ask you about your childhood. We asked you, are people better off than they were 4 years ago? Why do you keep telling us about your lawn? Why do you keep telling us that you're a middle-class kid? Tell us about now, in the economy now, and how people feel now.
That so many people work so hard and should have the opportunity to just get their foot in the door. Again, so it's not just about getting by, but getting ahead.
Every answer is a dodge. Every one. Even CNN is picking up on it.
When you listen to Kamala Harris on what she will do, you can almost start a drinking game every time she says small businesses. Describe the politics of that.
When she says that, she also talks about being a middle-class kid. That's also at the front of her answers.
Today, she was at a Hispanic event in Washington, and she said nothing.
I love you back. I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. Recently, I was in Nevada.
The children of the community are the children of the community. Nah, duh. What the heck does that mean? I showed this to my wife. She said, why does she never make any sense? And she's running to be the president? Are you kidding me?
I'm in these streets. Let me tell you, I'm everywhere. We have some work to do. In fact, a lot of hard work ahead of us. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work, I say.
Kamala's running out the clock so you don't hear about her dangerous policies. She talks about an opportunity economy. But what that really means is that she'll just take it as an opportunity to take all your money and give it to people she likes more than you. She'll take trillions of dollars out of the economy, spend it on equity welfare. $1 billion for trans, $1 billion for migrants. Ooh. You know how it goes. She's going to raise taxes so...
Oh, come on.
We're going to have to lay you off. We're going to go into a recession. And then she's going to spend more money trying to bail herself out. She says she's a career prosecutor, but her record's criminal. She's going to decriminalize drugs, empty the prisons, and just like in California, you're going to be allowed to steal anything just under $1,000. She has San Francisco values, and she's right. Those values haven't changed. And if you own a gun, She's going to walk into your home and look for it.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible.
So she's going to take your guns,
That's messed
cancel
up.
cash bail, and give amnesty to 20 million illegals she let in. Sounds safe.
Do y'all hear that? I'm telling you what, this 2024 election, I don't think it could get any crazier. I thought 2016 was crazy. No, this is crazier. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And just want to say thank you to everybody that has just blessed this channel so much. All of our new members of the channel. And also, if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really helps to grow the channel. And just want to say too, guys, we couldn't do this without you. We are going to do something great with this channel. We are going to impact this world with this channel. We got something we're working on very, very big that we're going to be showing a video in the next couple of weeks. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. And it's all because we want to do more. I'm an action-oriented person. I don't just want to report the news. I want to make good news and show that we have goodness and we can bring hope in this world. Tracy J. Norby, thank you so much for that blessing. Everybody, show Tracy some love in the chat, everybody. Y'all are what make it happen. I couldn't do this without you, and I am so grateful for every single one of you, and I'm here to serve you. So please join our True Life News family. The links are in the description, and I promise you, we're going to do some great things, and you're going to be a part of it. Tracy, you're just such a blessing. We appreciate you so much. We're here to serve you. We're here to serve all of you. And we're going to do this every single day. We love you. We thank you all. Again, show Tracy some love in the chat, everybody. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Oh, I haven't hit the button yet real quick. Donna H. said, I love your show, Joel. Keep up the great work. Happy belated birthday. Hey, thank you. Hey, I asked y'all. Thank you so much, Donna. Show Donna and Tracy some love in the chat, everybody. I asked everybody, how old do you think I am? I had a couple 40s in there. So I remember. I know who you are. I'm only 33. Thank God for another year. I'm here to serve you all. I love you all, guys. Thank y'all so much for those blessings, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.